What is going on, everybody? Hope you guys are having a great week so far. So we got another solo episode today. And I was thinking, I've been sick the last week or so. We went to Park City last weekend, and then I came back and immediately got sick. I think it was probably Park City's like 9,000 feet of elevation down here in Phoenix. It's like 2,000. And so I think that the huge change, the flights, whatever it was, it gave me a huge sinus. I'm assuming a sinus infection. I had, all that sinus pressure, just a terrible headache for 2, 3 days. And it made me thinking, a good podcast for today would be just kind of things that you can do when you're sick to help you get back to 100%. Not that I'm even back to 100% or probably the best person ever to talk about this, because I rarely get sick. And when I do, I actually thought it was allergies right away, because I was kind of trying to it's not a sickness. It's just allergies. Like, I'll take my allergy medication and I'll get back to it. And that did not work. And so then sometimes for me, when I'm not sick very much, like when I do get sick, it can last a little bit longer because I'm ignorant to the fact that I'm actually sick and that it's not allergies. And so I can kind of push through and still work out. And then all of a sudden it's like, it just kind of debilitatingly puts me out of work for a few days, which it did put me out of work last week. And so what I did and what I try to do, I know in the past, like for me, it was really stressful when I was sick to move away from my routine, the workout routine, the movement, stuff like that. I thought I was going to just throw all my progress aside. But in reality, a lot of times what I've found is that by pushing past when you're sick, it can just make that sickness last longer. Right. And so it's not that you don't want to do anything. It's like what I was doing was a lot more yoga and stretching and just, things that are not going to tax my system and make it so that I'm overexerting myself. Because the last thing that we want to do when we are truly sick is to overexert ourselves. And it's like an injury. I kind of take those two similarly, where when I've had injuries in the past, a lot of times, the moment that I was off the injury, I was going right back to what I was doing before. And half the time, what ends up happening is that you re-injure that muscle or whatever it is that was injured in the past. And so what I try to do now is ease myself back in. And so to give you a timeline, so the Friday was my worst day. So I got back Monday, was kind of I'm not feeling amazing. I think allergies are kicking in, a little bit of sinus pressure. I'm okay, I'll take my allergy medication. Tuesday comes a little bit, or Tuesday comes, and that's kind of the first day that I was not feeling the best. Wednesday comes, it's a little bit worse, but I'm still fine, still working, still thinking it's allergies. Thursday comes and I'm I feel like crap. Luckily, that's my short day with work. But I was okay, this is definitely not allergies. I got to start, doing a little bit of a different direction here. And so, for me, I started trying to drink more teas. I got this immune tea, this yogi. It's elderberry immune stress tea. And I was drinking a lot of that. At night, I was drinking, a sleep tea that helps put you to sleep, get better rest. I was drinking a lot of water, electrolytes, really trying to stay hydrated, trying to eat some quality stuff. I got some soup at the store, some chicken noodle soup, eating that. And then, I get up on Friday, and that's the worst day. I have a huge headache the whole day, just basically laying on the couch the whole day. I just couldn't really do much. So I was trying to stay hydrated. I was drinking tea. I was eating food that I could eat, like smoothies and stuff like that, some more soup, and just trying to get to where I feel a little bit better. And I woke up on Saturday, and I finally kind of turned a corner on Saturday to where I was getting better. In the meantime, I was doing some stretching and stuff like that. I don't think I did anything on Thursday, to be honest, but Saturday or on Friday, to be honest. But then, Saturday, kind of doing some yoga, just some light stuff, went on a walk. Sunday, same thing, went on a walk, a little bit more yoga and stretching, just light stuff, staying hydrated. And I think that the big thing is that what I've just noticed is that when you overexert, you end up pushing yourself past the point. And a lot of this too is it's pretty common sense, right? Fluids, quality foods, if you're going to move and do exercise, don't do anything that's going to tax your system. Do some light stuff. I like to go in the sauna. If you get like a steam room, a hot shower can help a lot. And I'm like not good with sickness, but it has gotten me to realize that I've gotten a lot better with a lot of these things, where a lot of these things would be like, oh, I'd be so stressed to the point that I'm going to like completely lose all my progress. My body's going to whittle down to nothing in the course of these few days that I'm sick. When in reality, like, you don't really lose much. I think that it's important to take your rest days, to rest throughout the week. I even will sometimes take rest weeks when I feel like my body needs it now. And a lot of that's growth, right? We can, go through life and stress about everything under the sun. I think that it's cool to look back, like I've talked about a few times in this podcast, just see where we've come, like, and let it, and understand that it's okay to change. Because if you've watched this podcast from the beginning, which was, God, 2-3 years ago at this point, you look at me then and me now, and it's a completely changed person. Obviously, I'm not in as good a shape as I was at that point, but I'm a lot less stressed and I'm a lot more happy and I have a lot more joy in my life. Obviously, I found a wife who's just so amazing, and all that stuff. Like, it's made me realize there's a lot more things to life than just like constantly working out and stressing your body and being so like just stressed about how you look and all that. There's a lot more to it, and it's important that we do the things that help us feel good. I think it's really nice to look good and feel good about your body, but we don't want to. But I think there's like things that life's just too short, and I think about some of that, and it's like, God, I spent a lot of this time, and I'm glad I did, because it got me to where I am today. But I spend a lot of time like focusing on things that didn't really matter as much. And that if I think about the amount of time that I used to spend in the gym every day, it's like multiple hours. And really, like, I was trying to, I think a lot of it was like kind of pushing aside things that, and making excuses. It's like, okay, like, oh, this is what a woman wants to see. They want to see like a ripped man. And maybe some do, but I think at the end of the day, like, a woman really wants like somebody who's healthy, and they care about the other things outside of your body. Obviously, they want you to they want to be attracted to you. They want you to look good. But, I think that a lot of this stuff, it was for me to try to find the love of my life, when in reality, getting out there and dating and like putting myself out there led me to what I really want. I've always loved love, and really wanted a partner and a best friend, and somebody who I can share everything with and just do everything with. And I never thought that would come as quickly as it did, after just, I know that Matt and I talked about our path and how we, I started dating. I think we started talking about it on it. I don't even know. We started talking about it a little bit, and started talking about our dates. And then, all of a sudden, we're both in, I'm married, just, now it's coming up on 2 years after starting that process. And just knowing that, if you're in the same boat, a lot of times I think the things we focus on to find a partner, sometimes we put a little bit too many eggs in a basket of like having our body in like this crazy shape, when it's good to work on yourself, right? It's good to work on your body. It's good to get in great shape. It's good to get healthy, but also just putting yourself out there too, and like defining what you're really looking after. Like, what are you really looking for? Who are you looking for? Who do you want this person to be? How do you want them to contribute to your life? And what are their values? All these things go into that. And I never thought I could be as happy as I am today in such a short period of time. And this has been a mishmash episode, guys, but I think all of it to understand that it's okay to change. It's you guys have seen who've been here since the start, or even like halfway through, have seen the changes that I've gone through, that Matt's gone through. And, I'm a lot more lax with things these days than I was before. I used to be, I don't really coach anymore. That's kind of where I was when I started. I had, 15, 20, 25 clients that I was coaching. And I thought that people had to do so many things, right? It's like, oh, you have to do so many things. But at the end of the day, everybody's different. And so you really just got to kind of figure out what you really want, right? And I think that it's important to understand that sometimes we want things, we think that we have to want things that other people want us to want. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like with anything, we're conditioned. Like the people will tell you stuff, right? It's like with kids and stuff. It's like you think about a lot of people. It's like, oh yeah, you get married and you have kids. You get married and you have kids. You get married and you have kids, and then you can kind of be conditioned to that. It's like that's just the only way to do it. Like that's what you're supposed to do. And in reality, like that's great for some people, but maybe some people, it's like that's just not the path that's best for them, right? And maybe it's a path that they're going to take, but maybe it's just not the right path right now, right? And so just understanding that looking at your life, looking at what you truly want, allowing yourself to set those goals, like sit down with your partner or sit down by yourself and just like figure out your actual things that you want, right? Not the things that other people want that you think you want. Like, what do you really want your life to look like? And and um and if you do that, like you'd be surprised at how quickly you can actually achieve some of these things. And it doesn't take as much effort as we think it does to achieve some of these things. Where I always thought that, you have to do a million things to achieve these, but in reality, it's like one of the biggest things I've ever wanted in life was just like a beautiful, amazing, inside and out human, like wife, best friend that I can just do everything under the sun with. And I 2 years ago thought that it was probably like 5 to 10 years before that was actually going to become a reality. And just by like truly putting my best foot forward and giving my all and just putting myself out there and like working on myself and growing in different areas of my life, it happened within, I met that person within, about a month of starting on that journey. And a year after that, we were married. And so just know that anything can happen a little bit quicker. Just you got to really define what you truly want. You have to actually really want it. I think that the big reason we don't achieve a lot of the goals in our life is because we don't truly want what we're going after. And so then it's really hard to get yourself to get up day after day and to be motivated and disciplined to do those things when you don't truly actually want it. So this has been a mismatch episode. I don't even know what I'm going to call it because it's been a lot of different things. I hope it's helped in some respect, with whatever I've talked about today. But I really appreciate everybody for watching and listening every single week. I think this has kind of been almost like a diary episode for me. And so I apologize for anybody who is hoping this would be a little bit different. But, thanks again for watching and listening every week. I do appreciate you all. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day and week, and we'll be talking to you soon.